special guest from Poland, Artur Karpiński, Beer Bacon and Liberty, ex-Golem. Okay, guys, I think we can sit down, and we were talking today a lot about football. Do you want to continue this topic?
Of course, always. Football is the thing I like to talk about the most, more than beer.
Okay, we are happy. Not everyone. Arthur, are you happy? Jagiellonia wins the game.
Yes, my team won 3-1, so I'm very happy.
I'm also happy because my local team also wins the game, the derby game. I don't want to ask you about Arsenal.
I can see where...
What? Sorry?
Should be working.
What is going on? Sorry, you have small problems with microphone.
Wait. I'll go and fix this.
Okay.
Thing.
Sorry for that. Okay, Raz. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay. Let's wait for another microphone. It's okay. Okay, so we don't need microphone because Jack don't want to talk about Arsenal. You can check the the score, and you have an answer why. So I will tell now about the topic of this panel. Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. Please sit down, Arthur. Okay.
Raz.
Yeah, 2 against 1.
He's a man in the middle.
I thought that after Michael's show,
Check.
Yeah, the energy,
It
goes
works.
down,
It
we
works.
go down.
Jack can be heard.
Okay, once again, hello, guys. It's really nice to have you on the stage, have you on Warsaw Beer Festival. Do you know what's the topic of this panel? The topic of this panel is O'Hara Brewery, tradition, passion, and taste of Ireland in every sip. Are you able to talk about this, Jack?
We will see.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, Jack, could you please introduce yourself at the beginning and tell us what is your role in O'Hara's Brewery?
So I am part of the export team for O'Hara's Brewery. So it's a very small export team. We're an export-focused brewery, in fairness. So it's probably 60-40, maybe 70-30 export to domestic. But it's me, Cynthia, who was here the last 2 days. She went home this morning, and Ling. And it's basically the three of us that control nearly 30,000 hectoliters of beer going all over Europe, North America, South America, Asia, Oceanica. So we're busy. We're very busy as a brewery, but we're very happy as well. So.
Okay, so we want to know why you're busy. We want to know everything about this brewery. So could you please tell us what is the story of O'Hara's Brewery, how it started?
Yeah. So O'Hara's as a brewery, it started like any good brewery probably should start, out of frustration. So our founder, our owner, Seamus O'Hara, go figure, he came back from England like a lot of Irish people did in the 90s. A lot of Irish people went there, they worked in the 90s and 80s. But he came back from England with a bit of anger about basically how English bars work. So if you're in England, you will notice that every bar has a local brewery. So when I was in Manchester last month, you had Manchester Marble, you had Manchester. There was maybe 3 or 4 breweries that you would see in every bar. But when he came back to Ireland, you will see the same commercial breweries. You would see, I won't say their name, but G, Innis. You see Smithwick's, you see a lot of these big commercial brands, and he couldn't get over how you couldn't escape them. They're in every bar, there's no choice, there's no options. So he basically decided, like, look, I love beer, his family history is in beer. He was interested in starting something new, so that's how O'Hara's came to be. We started brewing stout in 1996. We were one of the first generation of brewers, so there was maybe 2 or 3 other breweries that started in the late in the late 1990s, and you're looking at.
I mean, man, it's amazing because 1996, you said.
It's
In 1996 in Poland, it was one fucking desert. Because the first Polish craft brewery, Pinta, was born in 2010.
Yeah.
So it was 14 years before
The difference,
Polish craft beer even started its existence.
Yeah,
And already back then you were starting brewing, so that's really awesome.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
the way, you know, for me, as a Polish beer geek, O'Hara Brewing is always something that has its roots in this tradition that you have with Pinta. So Lublin to Dublin, the stout that you make every year, and today, of course, is the 10th anniversary of this beer. So you can come to Pinta to drink it. This time it's with coffee.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a nitro coffee.
Yeah, so
stout,
this is in fact how I got to know your brewery. And also in Poznań, we have a pub called Piwna Stopa.
Yeah.
And back there, Stefan, who is the owner and manager of this pub, he really likes both Irish and British beers. So he always has a good stout on tap, and very often it's your stout.
Well, if it's a good stout. It's
Yeah,
good
so O'Hara Stout is very often on tap in Poznań, where I live, and it's a really good one. So this is how your beer is becoming more and more popular in Poland, because first of all, your collab with Pinta, and then your export, which you are responsible for as well. So we're really happy to have you here on stage and on a beer festival, because you really make great beer, in my opinion.
Thank you so much.
Arthur, but what do you have in your glass? I don't think it's stout from O'Hara's brewery.
No, it's in
Tell
fact,
us why.
In fact, it's a wild ale from Cztery Ściany, which is really great.
I may try it. I'll try it after this. Yeah.
If you like wild ale, you definitely have to try it.
Arthur, you told us about the situation in Poland when the O'Hara's has started. As you said, there was a desert. So, one fact: do you know that in 1996 there were only 3 breweries in Ireland?
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
started. Jack, could you please tell us about this?
Like the situation in Ireland.
It's not too many. It's not too much. Sorry.
No,
yeah.
it's a well-known fact in Ireland. Like, we're a very commercialized country, and it's a lot of it is based on our appetites. It's what Irish people like, which is generally Irish stout, which we all know who does that in the largest volumes. Irish red ale, which it's the same company that does the stout. And then when it comes to lager, there was variety throughout the years, but over time, all of those kind of got absorbed into the bigger breweries and under bigger brands. So by the time we came into existence, there just wasn't anyone else there. And a part of it was there was no real requirement for it. It's not like Seamus came home and saw that people are begging for craft beer, people are begging for something else. It was more so, like I said, out of frustration. He just saw a market that was absorbed by 3 massive commercial breweries, and he went, there has to be someone else. So that's how we came into existence, out of frustration, out of the need to try something new, because, you know, if you're a commercial brewery, experimentation, it's not worth your time. You make your money and you make your volume of doing what people like. Whereas we decided we'll go into what people might like and what people haven't tried, which is basically how we got our start in Ireland.
Okay, but before you started, the people were used to buy only 3 or 2 styles, like a dry stout or Irish red ale. Yeah, is it true?
Yeah. So it was red ale, which domestically is Smithwick's. I know in Europe it might be Kilkenny is the more known brand, but Kilkenny is like an export brand. So you have Guinness, you have Smithwick's, and you had your choice of either European lagers, Carlsberg, Heineken, or maybe something domestic like Harp or something like that. But it was how the market was built, and people it wasn't like they weren't complaining, but they just didn't know choice was a thing they could get until, I like to think, until we came along. So
How many breweries are now in Ireland?
right now,
Yeah, do you know? Maybe.
I don't know the exact number, but I know it's surpassing somewhere around 30 to 40 breweries. Like even like I'm by no means an old guy. I'm 27, so like I haven't been around forever. But in my lifetime, I've seen the Irish beer scene develop from your commercial breweries and maybe O'Hara's and one or two other small craft breweries, up into a point now where in retail you're seeing craft beer as a massive option. Like it's taking up whole aisles in supermarkets. And yeah, Irish breweries, like as a market, we are very loyal to our local breweries. If you're made in Ireland, you're almost guaranteed a chance within here. So yeah.
So I have a question. So before you started, or when you started, like Łukasz said, there were just 3 breweries and so on. Was it like really Irish people, like regular, Irish guys on the street? They were really drinking like Guinness and Irish Red Ale, or were they drinking corporate macro lager? How is this relationship between traditional Irish styles like dry stout, Guinness, Murphy's, Kilkenny's, whatever, and Irish Red Ale versus typical macro lager?
Macro lagers, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the relationship in Ireland? Do regular Irish people, like on the street, really drink Guinness, or they prefer really the macro lager?
No, like in Ireland, as a market, we actually love our domestic styles of beer. Genuinely, like you could walk into a pub and you will see 40 to 50% of people drinking a stout, and it's not because it's a craft beer pub. It's not because it's cool. It's because that is the preference within the market. Like, even where I'm born, like where I'm from is Kilkenny. Kilkenny is the home of Irish Red Ale. It was founded there.
Yeah, but there's also the Kilkenny Stout, right?
Kilkenny Stout. No, it's Red Ale. Kilkenny is known for its Red Ale. I think Kilkenny did brew a stout once upon a time.
They did. In fact, Kilkenny Stout was in fact available in my hometown in Białystok
how long ago?
20 years ago.
Exactly.
What?
Guess who? Someone bought Kilkenny, someone who makes another stout, and now it's gone. So that's how that works. But no, genuinely, the Irish people, Irish domestic market, the preference is for Irish beers. Like it's red ale, it's stout. Where I'm from, if you walk into a pub in Kilkenny, half the pub is drinking red ale.
So you mean that even before the whole craft beer movement and craft beer revolution, people were still not drinking the crappy Euro lager. They were still drinking local Irish beer.
Yeah.
Which is
absolutely.
great. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I wanted to hear.
There was no Moretti back then, thank God.
So can we say that you went craft beer to the mainstream? Do you agree with that?
I definitely think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. As like the mainstream for so many years was just what you expect. It's commercial beer. And I think as a brewery, it was first of all establishing ourselves outside of Ireland. Like we were very fortunate that there was a demand for Irish traditional beers outside of Ireland that not everyone wanted the mainstream. So we were able to fulfill that, and by doing that we could grow internally as well. So like we're at a point now where like we're a recognized brand, our Irish Pale Ale, that bright green bottle that everyone can recognize. You can see that on taps throughout Ireland, and you don't question it. You don't think you're in a craft beer bar. If you are, great, but like if you're just in a regular pub and you see it, you assume it belongs there. There's no question. So I think we played a part. I don't want to blow up our tires. I don't want us to make us sound better than we are, but it was a case of before we existed, it just wasn't a choice, and after we existed and after a couple of years, we definitely grew into it.
So is potential of Irish beer market still growing?
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a lot of potential there. What do you think?
There's genuinely there seems to be a new noticeable brewery every year. Like every year, you walk into your bottle shop and you see another brewery and they have 10 beers on the shelf and you're like, where did you come from? Like, I don't recognize you and you're new, but you tried a beer and it's amazing. So as a market, we're still growing. We're still constantly trying to do better. One observation, I gave it in my master class earlier on, but like I will say after walking around here, there's a lot more experimentation within the Polish craft beer segment than there is in Ireland. Like Ireland, the way I explained it, like in Ireland, I think we just cracked triple IPAs a couple of years ago where you get the mainstream consumer trying something that's 10%, something like that, which triple IPA. I walk around here and there, like a beer has 6 words before it tells you if it's a pale ale, and it's interesting. I love it, but as a market, we're learning. We're growing into craft beer. Like we don't want to scare anyone is the easiest way to put it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is very interesting what you said because, of course, we had a chat before, right, at the stands, and you said that if any of those crazy experiments happen in Ireland, people would be really shocked if they saw these super, 6 adjective beers, as you said. So why is that? Why do you think? Do you think that the Irish beer society is, let's say, more conservative? Why? Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. Like I don't know if conservative is the word. Like it makes us sound really backwards. It makes us sound not ready to accept change. I just think the Irish palate preference is growing right now. Like you have to imagine for hundreds of years we're used to these very low ABV beers because the way I explain it to a lot of people that ask me like why is stout low ABV, why is Irish red ale so low ABV, is we don't have cafe culture. Like for us, if you wanted to meet your friends,
yeah, you're in Poland, we love.
Yeah, you don't have it either. So.
We love 40% stuff that's made in the forest near Białystok.
For us, we like 4%. I can sit in a pub and I can talk to my friends. I can have.
Yeah, we do the same with the 40%.
The difference is we have 26 pints. You have 6 pints. So like.
We also have as many as you, but the 40%.
That's fair. I just think as a culture, we were so used to low ABV beers. Like even I think some brands would create a lower ABV beer just for the Irish market. So when you talk about these really new styles, not even new, but like just funky styles that come with higher ABV, I just don't think the Irish palate is ready. There is some people, like there's me and there's about 100 people I know that will absolutely drink, like you said, 6 adjectives before the name of the beer, and that's perfect.
Yeah, in fact, I have a question because in Ireland, of course, just like in Scotland, you have a lot of peat.
Yeah.
So, but still, there is no Irish peated stout as a popular style. You don't do it. The Scots do it, but you don't. Why?
Well, I'm going to write that down right now. Just keep that in mind. But I don't know why we don't do it. Like, we do have massive peat lands. Like, we have plenty of peat, but I just don't think the smoke really was attractive for us. Like, look, there's not much difference between us and Scotland, but it was definitely a style they absorbed, whereas we kept it just a bit more simple. I don't know, and that's a great question. I can go back and find out. But.
All right, because generally when it comes to smoking stuff, people smoke what they have. So in Germany, they smoke beechwood.
Yeah.
In Poland, they smoke oak wood. In Iceland, they smoke sheep dung. And in Scotland, they smoke peat. So I suppose in Ireland, they also smoke peat. But there is, if you think about peated whiskey or peated stout, you think about Scotland and not Ireland. And that's very interesting for me. Why is it not popular in Ireland?
I don't know. I don't like peated whiskey is Irish. Like we have massive brands that do peated whiskey. But when it comes to beer, you're right. It's not common. It's not done. And I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. Maybe the Scottish just beat us to it, and we're like, oh well, we're not interested if you're doing it. So.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your beers. Maybe let's start with your core range. What styles do you bring to us to the Poland? Could you please tell us about this?
So in terms of what we brought what the people want,
Okay,
which is
okay.
our Red Nitro, our Irish Stout. So 2 beers, traditional as traditional
Okay.
gets. It's nothing special. We do pride ourselves on what we've done for these beer styles compared to what might be more commercially available. So like we really rely on flavor. We're not scared of using extra hops. With like the way we describe our stout is how stout used to taste. So the stout you drank in Ireland in the 1960s versus what you can get today is completely different. It might be a mathematical formula in some office somewhere that decided to change, but for us, we brew what Seamus drank in the 60s, what anyone else would have drank in the 60s. And then we also brought just our IPAs. So our Irish Pale Ale, which is on the screen behind me here, that's the beer that really started the craft side of our brewery. So we were known for our red ale and our stout. And then Seamus had a decision maybe in 2006, 7, 8, where he was like, I love these American style IPAs, but I love the European balance of an IPA. So the Irish Pale Ale is an in-between. It's dry hopped with is it Amarillo? It's definitely dry hopped, I know that.
So how is it different? How is Irish IPA different from American IPA or British IPA?
Because it's the in-between. It's not trying too much to be one or the other. It has the dry hopping of the American Pale Ale, but it has the balance of the kind of European, UK styles that you're
Okay,
used to.
but did you use American hops or British hops?
Do I look like a brewer to you right now? I do not know. You should have seen the guys in my masterclass earlier where they were asking questions. I was like, guys, I'm not sure. It's like, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know what kind of hops you use.
Not 100% certain, no.
Okay,
I'm confident
alright.
of Amarillo, which is the easiest guess in the
And
world.
it's American.
Which I believe that's a dry hopping.
Yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
okay.
so much.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, okay. 2 words about special series. I know that you have barrel age beers. Could you tell us about this?
Yeah, so we have Lublin to Dublin here right now.
Yes,
so
exactly.
This is our 10th anniversary collaboration. We've done it a good few times over the years with Browar Pinta. It's always been stout because their preference is obviously traditional Irish style, and our preference is to have a bit of fun with that style. So we each are fairly pleased with it. So like they get their Irish style beer, and we get to experiment with our core stout. So this year we have a coffee stout. Previous years we had a rye stout, we had an imperial stout. We always like to play with it, but no matter what we do, it has that kind of core Irish stout profile, and then the extra added fun side, which is what O'Hara likes to do. So we brew it in Ireland every time, and this year we're very pleased. It came out as a coffee stout, very balanced, tastes fantastic. It's already sold out on tap in the O'Hara's bar, which shows a lot.
That's really good. I tasted it, and I can only say that it was really, really tasty.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. So, thank you.
Guys, fortunately, I've just checked. Our time is over. So my final question from the stage is, what are your impressions? How do you feel on Warsaw Beer Festival?
How do you like the festival?
Yeah, exactly.
I am so impressed. Like I've been to about 4 or 5 festivals in the last year and a half, so like it's festival season. I have to say, I think this might be my favorite. I think it's my favorite. Like just in terms of variety, first of all, with beer, like everyone is doing something different, which is a million miles away. Like we had the Dublin Beer Festival in September, and a lot of breweries doing great beer, but similar styles. Whereas I come here, and from stand to stand, it's a different country's difference of beers. It's amazing. The setting is great. Like I love how I could get a pint and I just go outside and I watch some drone racing. I don't know about drone racing, but I'm suddenly a big fan of it right now. So I'll probably go out there and watch some more after this. But in terms of the festival, I'm really impressed. I love our stand. The guys from Green Gold have a good stand as well. So, you know, that partnership with One More Beer, Browar Pinta pays off. And Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's actually a fantastic.
Okay. So now I will ask our audience, maybe they have some questions to you, Jack. Kochani, jeśli macie w tej chwili ochotę zadać jakieś pytanie do Jacka, to jest ten moment, bo czas nam się kończy. Odwagi, jeśli ktoś chce spytać, zapraszamy do dyskusji.
Welcome on stage, everyone who
Yeah.
wants to ask a question to Jack.
You don't have to. It's okay.
You have to, of course you do. I'm looking at you, you have to do it.
Okay, I think nobody wants to. Yeah?
Are there really no questions to Jack from the audience? I have to stand up and go to the microphone and ask some people out. I guess. Maybe Wojtek is the first one. Do you have any questions to Jack?
Okay, actually, I do not have any question, but I can make up some
Okay.
right now. Okay, so maybe the most obvious question: what is your favorite beer style and your favorite beer, but not from O'Hara's?
Not from
Not
O'Hara.
from- yeah,
That's
okay.
easy. I said it earlier. Sours. I am massive on sours. I love sours. Any day of the week, any season. I don't.
Sorry. Please forgive me my ignorance, but is O'Hara's making any sours?
No.
No.
But that's what I mean. It's,
Okay, so it's easy question. Okay, so something else. So Arthur already asked you if the ordinary people in Ireland if they are drinking Guinness or the stouts, which for me is pretty surprising because I was pretty sure that still the normal people are drinking corporate macro lagers like a Carling or whatever the peace beer you can imagine. But okay, the imperial stouts. The imperial stouts. I've been to UK many times. I've never been to Ireland, but to UK, and I have noted that, for example, in some pubs, there is a note above the only tap with the imperial stout that only 1 pint per person, for example. Is it also a thing in Ireland that strong beers are not common?
Absolutely. If you were to walk into an Irish pub, there's a good chance you will never see a beer above 6%. It's very uncommon to see a high ABV beer. Like even you say where you can only have 1 beer per person, it doesn't exist in Ireland. We're a low ABV culture. I see these breweries from Poland and I see 7, 8, 12%, and I couldn't imagine in Ireland we'd have that. It's sometimes often O'Hara's when we have a tap in a bar, and it's our 51st State IPA, 5.6%, highest ABV in the pub. It's very uncommon. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have one more question from the audience.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you have some gluten-free beer for me?
I can't hear you. One sec.
Have you some gluten-free beer for me?
Have we done gluten-free beer?
Have you got some gluten-free beer?
I don't know. We do not. Sorry.
I was in Ireland in May and I was so lucky that you have so much gluten-free beer in Ireland and Poland.
We are the only brewery that probably doesn't have gluten-free beer, if I'm being honest. So, but it's something a lot of Irish breweries are leaning towards. We're still trying to figure out non-alcoholic, so give us 1 more year and gluten-free's next. I
Or
promise.
5 years.
Well, don't say that.
Another question from the audience.
Hello, mate. Do you do any 0% beers? I know you're going to get lynched being
So,
Because in Poland we have, 100 non-alcoholic beers. So that's a good question. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's a huge trend of non-alcoholic beers in Poland. So
Yeah.
how it is in Ireland?
it's as if you know the answer, Arthur. We're working.
I
on
do.
it. Right now, as a brewery, we're looking at non-alcoholic because it's a trend everywhere. It's no denying it. It's not a case that we're sticking our head in the sand and we're thinking we brew beer, non-alcoholic, doesn't matter. It's something we're looking at right now as a brewery. We don't currently have a non-alcoholic. We had a low calorie IPA which was 2.5, but we were selling it on the calories, not the alcohol. But we're looking at it within the next year. and then to please that lady, gluten-free's next, and that's kind of the plan.
So gluten-free is next, and non-alcoholic
first, and then gluten-free.
All right, so first non-alcoholic, then gluten-free. All right, okay. Is there anyone from the audience who still wants to ask a question?
one more
You do,
question.
Okay.
Hello there. So you were mentioning about the popular Irish stout brand across Ireland. What is it you think that they're lacking that you add to the flavour of yours, that they've got a stranglehold on the market, but what is it that they've got that and you think, you know what, we've got a bit more in the sense of what we brew?
Yeah, it's like the one thing, not to make excuses, I don't want to do that as a brewery or as a person, but a lot of brands will have a 200-year head start on what you can do. So it takes time is the main thing when it comes to beer in general, just getting it out to people. But like in terms of what we focus on with our stout, it really is the flavor. Like you could drink our stout and you will pick up the chocolate, you will pick up the espresso notes. You will notice that there was time put into brewing this. And I really think like in terms of what people want, generally the palate might be the preference towards a plainer, dry Irish stout, but we could never succumb to that. Like it's in our blood, it's in what we started initially brewing for. Genuinely, like the stout was the first beer we ever brewed, and we brewed it with an idea of being like, this will taste like how stouts should taste. And that's kind of still how we're doing it. And in like, look, I realize outside of Ireland, people might not realize the difference or they might not mind, but in Ireland, it's a culture war. It's not the right words, but it's an easy way to explain it. It is a war between what stout is like right now, what it should be like. So there is other brands that do it, big brands like Murphy's. You'll get a lot of chocolate, same with Beamish. But in terms of what we brew, it's genuinely what people used to drink way back in the 1950s or 60s before the change happened, basically. So.
All right, thank you, Jack. Is there anyone from this beautiful audience who has one more question?
Just one, yeah.
Question.
No.
No.
If not,
All right.
I think, Jack, we can continue our discussion about football and Premiership.
Finally.
Yeah, but not now. Okay, I would like to thank you. It was great to have you on the stage.
Yes, thank you very much, Jack.
Yeah, Arthur, it was a big pleasure.
It was a big pleasure, Łukasz.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Huge pleasure.
Yeah.
Huge pleasure, Łukasz.
Thank you so
Huge
much,
pleasure,
Jack.
Gentlemen, I very much enjoyed this.
Yes.
I will be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Jack from O'Hara's
Huge
Brewery.
applause to this guy.
Yeah. Give him an applause.
Give him love.
Yeah.
Give him kisses.